And inside was this frame. Did you see it? And in the frame was this message on lined paper in blue ink and mostly a scroll. And it reads, "To my special friends, John and Jan, you said you had to go. We will miss you so much. But our heart's going with you both, no matter where you be or go. God will bless you and will leave his footprint behind you always. May God and Jesus and Virgin Mary and all the angels be with you always, because you are special people." This will go on the wall in our house, next to a Watanabe print. This was done by a spiritual genius. I'll tell you about her. You remember when the Second World War was finally over. There was a conference in Potsdam. Harry Truman was there. Winston Churchill was there. Later, Clement Attlee, because Churchill lost an election. And the French general. And Joseph Stalin. Joseph Stalin was there because Russia was one of the allies. And they divided up Germany into administrative units. We, the U.S., got the south of Germany. France got the southeast of Germany, southwest of Germany. England got the northwest of Germany, and the Soviet Union got all the rest. And it didn't work very well for the Soviet Union, because people will be free. There will be they will be free to what God has called them to be. And you will not stop them. So people in East Germany were fleeing to West Germany. So how do you stop something like that? You build a wall. So in 1961, they built a wall. And that didn't stop them. They went over the wall in hot air balloons. They dug under it with tunnels. They will be free to be who God has called them to be. Well, that's where this woman grew up. She grew up in a police state. Okay? And to make matters worse, she married. She married someone worse than the Soviet Union, who punched her, slapped her, threw her against the wall, kicked her in the belly when she was pregnant, so she miscarried. Finally, she escaped East Germany and her marriage and came to America. Today, this woman is married again to one of America's finest commercial artists. Among all the women of the church down the ages, in my experience, none is greater, not even St. Teresa of Avila, none is greater than this woman. Jan and I sit behind her and her husband every Sunday morning. We've done it for a decade or more. We sit there because we study them, because we want to learn how to be Christians in this world. They know the name of every homeless person in town. They feed them. They hire them. They house them. And they say not one word about it. They do not seek praise. They just want to be whom Christ has called them to be. That's all. I want to talk briefly about Matthew's Gospel. You know about Matthew's Gospel. It begins with the genealogy of Jesus all the way from Abraham to Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus was born, the Messiah. And then the visit of the wise men and the escape into Egypt because of crazy Herod. And then the ministry of John the Baptist and the baptism of Jesus and the temptation in the wilderness and the calling of the first disciples and the Beatitudes. You know all that, don't you? You read Matthew. And it goes on. It goes on to the very end of the gospel, to the very last chapter, to the very last paragraph. And it says, Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, not Jesus' mother, maybe Jesus' sister, who knows? Two Marys are at the tomb on Sunday, our Sunday, first day after the Jewish Sabbath. And there is an epiphany there. It's as if some person, an angel, like a bolt of lightning, comes down from heaven. And this angel rolls the stone away from the tomb. And he sits down on it. I mean, this is almost funny. And the women are terrified by that person. And what does he say to them? You know it, don't you? You read the scriptures. He says, do not be afraid. Okay? May in the Greek, in the Koine Greek, it is me phobeste. Me phobeste. Say that. Me phobeste. Do not be afraid. Well, let me tell you, there's a lot in this world to be afraid of, but it can reduce us to nothing. What it really means, me phobeste, is something else. So the angel says to Mary Magdalene and the other Mary, you go to Galilee, you'll see him there. So they head out for Galilee. And they meet up with some of the disciples and with Jesus. And what does Jesus say after hello? He says, are you ready? Me phobeste. Do not be afraid. It's not do not be afraid of. It's do not be afraid to. Do not be afraid. To love God with all your heart, and with all your mind, and with all your soul. Do not be afraid to love God. Do not be afraid to love yourself, your very self, and to love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. Don't be afraid of that. Don't be afraid to love those who don't love you and maybe never will. Don't be afraid to bless those who curse you. Don't be afraid to forgive and forgive and forgive. 10 times 10. Forgive. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be like a child again. Don't be afraid Don't be afraid to be like Christ. Me phobeste. Me phobeste. Me phobeste. Do not be afraid.